playground, we head to a high-tech war zone while taking aim in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier. We feel the wrath of a new animated short for Diablo III. Max Payne is returning in today's Sonar. And we take a ride on a Segway on steroids with a look at the DTV Shredder. And we listen to the cheers of the crowd as the audio design of Madden NFL 13 touches down.
Touchdown!
Hey everyone, you're watching the Electric Playground, the show that gives you the latest in everything cool every single day. I'm your host, Briana McIver, and I think today might be the first time in weeks that we're not going to mention the Avengers in the rundown, but we've got plenty of other great stuff. Here it is. Thanks to gamers everywhere, the Republique Kickstarter campaign is a success. The ambitious mobile and PC game managed to raise the necessary funds with just 6 hours to go before its deadline. This means that developer Camouflage can maintain complete creative control over the project instead of handing things over to a big publisher. This also means that those who contributed will be able to get their sweet rewards like exclusive posters and other goodies. Republique combines tactical stealth and survival horror and aims to bring AAA console-style production values onto a mobile platform. You can learn more about the game by checking out our behind-the-scenes stories on electplay.com. And there's good news for fans of Seth MacFarlane's irreverent style of comedy. The animated shows Family Guy and American Dad are going to be around for at least 2 more years. Fox has renewed both for the 2013-2014 season, which will bring the total number of Family Guy seasons to 12, with American Dad clocking in at 9.
Now I want more.
MacFarlane may still have a reason to be worried because there's no word yet if the Cleveland show will also continue into 2014.
This sucks. I know.
It will be back for a 4th season, but it remains to be seen if it will continue after that. Seth MacFarlane is about to make his big screen debut with the raunchy comedy Ted about a talking teddy bear. It will hit theaters on July 13th. And there's some disappointing news on the small screen. The next season of 30 Rock will be its last. The critically acclaimed comedy will be back for a 7th and final season this fall, which will consist of just 13 new episodes. Despite its praise and multiple Emmys, 30 Rock has long struggled to find a large audience. The good news for fans is that this will give the writers enough time to tie everything up.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
In related news, the cult comedy Community has been renewed for a 5th season, which begins this fall. It will also consist of just 13 episodes.
You lied to me!
Looks like Hollywood is sinking its teeth into yet another comic book. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Archaea's devilish graphic novel, Feeding Ground, is getting the big screen treatment. The book tells the story of a Mexican family hunted by werewolves as they struggle to cross the border into the United States. It features plenty of scares while tackling the real-life issues surrounding illegal immigration. Some of the comic's creators will serve as producers on the film, and it's being overseen by American Psycho producer Edward R. Pressman.
What do you think?
Nice.
And the first preview of the new crime movie Gangster Squad has arrived. It's an explosive film noir-style movie that takes place in the 1940s. Josh Brolin and Ryan Gosling star as the leaders of a gritty LAPD unit out to eliminate the notorious mobster Mickey Cohen, played by Sean Penn. It's helmed by Zombieland director Ruben Fleischer and promises plenty of action. Gangster Squad will shoot up theaters this fall. Game maker Ubisoft isn't wasting any time with DLC for Ghost Recon Future Soldier. The game doesn't arrive until next week, but the publisher has already announced the first downloadable map pack. It's known as Arctic Strike and will take players to chilling locales. Ubisoft hasn't given a specific number of maps, but has revealed that players will also get 1 new multiplayer mode and 6 additional weapons. Arctic Strike deploys on July 3rd, and I hope you're not afraid of ghosts because we have a complete overview of Ghost Recon Future Soldier right now.
We are here to talk about Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Tell me a little bit about where this game is going to be taking place.
It's going to be taking place all over the world. The Ghosts are a highly trained special forces group. Your group of ghosts, first of all, encounter a global weapon scheme.
Are all the elements going to take place in the same type of environment, or will we see different weather effects as well as different layouts of land?
It's going to be very intel-based, especially when you have weather as an environment factor. The ghosts have all sorts of different equipment that they can use, like sensor grenades. Since there's a lot of players see through walls sometimes, that really helps them. So it's an intel-based gameplay that's going to be really intriguing.
And being that the game is called Future Soldier, are we going to have some sort of futuristic tech that we might not even know about?
One of the cool things that we get to do in working on this game is talk with military advisors about what the real military is doing as far as what their plans are for the future. And we take it and say, all right, well, how do we make that into a fun gameplay element? We've got the optical camo that kind of allows you to cloak yourself. In the military, you'll start seeing it a lot in the future, but will allow you to play with it in the here and now.
And while playing through the guerrilla mode earlier, I noticed bonuses that we get. Can we explain a little bit about those?
As you survive different waves, the longer you survive, the more bonuses you get. So one of the first ones you get is 15 seconds full intel on where the enemies are for the map. And we've got one that is complete invisibility for you and your teammates for, I believe, 10 seconds. And we have my personal favorite, the placeable sentry turret. You put that down and it acts like another member of the team for you and just mows down enemies left and right.
Talk to me about the different gameplay elements that we're going to see. The whole game is playable 4-player co-op?
Right. The whole entire 12-player campaign structure is playable 4-player co-op. There's so much coordination and communication that's necessary to get to the space. When you play by yourself and you got 3 AI guys, you know, they're artificial intelligence. They're going to move through the space very intelligently. But sometimes some of us don't have the most intelligent friends. So you play co-op and sometimes it's a different challenge.
We've got choppers inbound to pick you up.
I know I'm a sniper guy myself. The sniper in the game is pretty awesome. What's your go-to weapon?
My go-to weapon is not actually a gun itself. It's the claymore. I really love picking those claymores up and saying, all right, last time we played, we had some enemies coming over here. I'm gonna lay some claymores down here. When they come in, boom, they're dead. It's the way to go, for me personally.
Blowing people up, shooting people in the face, all available in Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Watch your face.
Future soldiers will be deploying all over the world next week, and all this week on EP, we will be telling you about their mission, so keep it locked. And after the break, we will head off-road and then online, so come on back. Welcome back to EP. Shaun is here now to take you basically wherever you want to go, but I hope you're prepared to get dirty and also possibly break some limbs.
Rob, the DTV Shredder reminds me of a few things, but it really isn't a class of its own. How would you describe it?
It's kind of like riding a tank meets a skateboard, meets a snowboard, meets a stand-up jet ski. It's a cross between power sports and extreme sports, and it's really just a very, very unique vehicle.
How much of the guts of the DTV Shredder are like off-the-shelf components versus how much are custom-made by you guys here?
At this point, most of the machine is all custom. It's been designed in CAD from scratch. In terms of the drivetrain, the engine is modeled around a stock engine, but with the performance upgrades, a large percentage of it is now custom to that engine. All the suspension components, with exception to the wheels and the shocks, that's all fabricated from scratch.
What are some of the improvements that have been made over time here?
I love talking about this. One of the great things about working here is that the engineers are also the test drivers, and we get to do all the different levels of that, from, you know, having an idea for an improvement to doing the design for the improvement to implementing the improvement on one of the prototypes or on the final production model. So the idea was to really not build limitations into the design. An ATV has the limitation of wheels, so it has trouble in deep snow. And, you know, a dirt bike has the limitation of a narrow track, and those are built into the design. So I'm sure that 6 months from now, people are going to be doing things with it that we never envisioned, just because we tried to keep an open mind in the design and just not limit ourselves with what the Shredder can do.
Who do you see picking this thing up and really digging it?
You know, the initial thought was, you know, recreational riders, guys who snowboard already, guys who skateboard, guys who ride ATVs, but we've been getting a lot of emails and a lot of calls from guys in the military, guys in agricultural business, guys in forestry, firefighting, all over the world. There's really a lot of multi-applications that this Shredder could go for.
Do you foresee a future where cars are obsolete and we just go to work on DTV Shredders?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be awesome. I want to go to work on a DTV Shredder.
If you think you might be into shredding, then you can head online for more details. And if you'd rather play it safe and head online into the depths of hell with Diablo 3, well, Vic has those details and more in the Sonar.
As Battleship somehow crosses from the realm of board game to big screen extravaganza this week, it should come as no surprise that a video game tie-in is also hitting the shelves. Battleship, the video game, combines first-person shooting gameplay against hostile alien forces on the shore with strategic naval battles taking place out at sea. While shooting up aliens, call in artillery strikes for support, and make sure to upgrade naval units before engaging in ship-to-ship warfare. You've sunk my oh, you get it. Winter is coming to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 this week with the action RPG Game of Thrones. Based on the spectacular HBO show and novels from George R.R. Martin, the game follows an intertwined journey of two characters, a veteran ranger of the Night's Watch and a red priest who returns home after the death of his father only to become entangled in politics. The game features an active pause system that slows down the action in the heat of the battle, allowing players extra time to make decisions. There's also plenty of character customization with 3 different playstyles available for each of the 2 main characters. And 2 huge threequels are arriving this week. The first, Max Payne 3, continues the story of former New York City detective Max Payne. Still haunted by the memories of his traumatic past, Payne begins a new life working private security, protecting a wealthy industrialist and his family in Sao Paulo, Brazil. After gangs target the family under his protection, he's forced to fight to save his clients and clear his name once and for all.
Just another day at the office, huh?
In addition to the single-player campaign, multiplayer is available for the first time in the series. Head online and battle with friends in a variety of multiplayer modes while gaining experience to level up and unlock strategic loadout options. And lastly, the long in development game Diablo III has finally emerged from the depths of hell. The story picks up 20 years after the events of Diablo II. 3 evil lords have been defeated, but the World Stone, which once shielded the inhabitants of Sanctuary from the forces of both heaven and hell, has been destroyed. Evil is once again stirring in Tristram. Hack and slash through a huge variety of demon spawn, playing as any of the 5 character classes. The Barbarian is a powerful melee brawler who whirlwinds into battle with reckless abandon. The Demon Hunter uses ranged attacks and traps while seeking revenge on fiendish foes. The Monk is an agile warrior who combines fast melee attacks and mystical powers to make quick work of enemies. And witch doctors and wizards are the resident spellcasters of the group, conjuring powerful magic to defeat the armies of hell. This time around, an in-depth rune system allows players to utilize a wide variety of playstyles. Every skill in the game can be modified by a multitude of runes. And of course, it wouldn't be Diablo if there wasn't a plethora of epic loot to collect. Now, where did I leave all my Stone of Jordans?
Coming up after the break, Shaun heads to the Codex vs. Games Creative Jam, and we get tackling with Madden NFL 13's audio design.
You're back here at the Electric Playground. EA has made it very clear that this year means new Madden everything, including the sound design. I recently made my way to Florida to speak with the man behind the music.
First and 20. That is the 4th time they've gotten to the quarterback.
Audio is an extremely important part of video games, and this year's iteration of Madden NFL 13 not only has a new look, but it also has a new sound. And Matt, you're the audio designer for the game. The biggest change is probably the introduction of the new commentators, so why was that something that was so important?
There's nothing like a heated divisional game.
The team of Jim Nance and Phil Simms as our color commentator and our play-by-play commentator were a big conscious decision. We watch these guys every Sunday. They've worked together since 2004, and we really love the chemistry that they had back and forth. So to bring that into Madden, it's just been a huge win for us.
Stands in the pocket, and he's in!
With a sports game like Madden, something that's so important is the play-by-play and calling the game. So how intuitive have you made it this year, and have there been improvements?
There have been. We've been able to take the context engine that was developed at our EAC studio that's been used on games like FIFA and NHL. We brought that to Madden, and it's actually amazing at how close they're calling the game. I think when our Madden gamers finally get their hands on it and they take a look at really what's being called and how accurate it is, it's really going to blow their minds.
EA Tiburon has a relationship with NFL Films and have been granted permission to use all of their back catalog, which is something that's so important. So for people who just play the game, they might not realize this. Explain to them why this is so important.
NFL Films has a rich asset of libraries, so they record every game. They mic quarterbacks, they mic defenders, and with our partnership with the NFL, through NFL Films, we're allowed exclusive access to that. No other broadcast entity is allowed to use that. So this year, in elevating Madden's sound design, we took elements like QB cadences, hits, grunts, crowd noises, and added that into our sound mix, and the result is just spectacular. Whether you're playing the game on a regular TV or you're playing it in a 5.1 surround system, the sound is so immersive, and it really brings out the emotion of NFL football.
From the shotgun, he'll throw it over the middle. Touchdown!
The average NFL game brings in nearly 70,000 fans into the stadium. How did you guys craft the stadium sound for Madden NFL 13?
What we did this year was we went out and we recorded a game with 24 tracks, essentially 24 microphones set up throughout the stadium. What that allows us to do is really pick up subtleties and give ambiance. Just the general crowd noise is so much more improved and sounds so much more realistic, and I think pulls the user into the game that much more.
He's got the touchdown.
Madden is expected to arrive near the end of August, and we'll probably have more details on the game around E3 next month. Now, it's time for us to find out what happens when you bring together a comic creator and an indie game developer.
Miguel, you have helped put together the Comics vs. Games exhibit. This is very cool. What is happening in this exhibit?
A whole bunch of stuff. The central thing is we got 5 comic creators and 5 indie game makers and had them work together in teams of 2, making a bunch of games over 3 months. So that's like the big thing, but then we also have a bunch of artwork from Tracked Mode. We have some other existing works that sort of mix comics and games. So a bunch of really cool stuff.
In addition to getting this whole exhibit together, you also worked on Black Church Brigandage. Who else did you work with on this game?
That was with Andy Bellinger, who did the artwork, and Ricky Lima did music for it. And it's kind of like Smash Brothers meets basketball.
Damien, the game that you've contributed to for Comics vs. Games is the YOG. What's happening in this game?
You have 6 weeks to prepare for the YOG, which is like this mythical, magical thing that is kind of mysterious, and it explains in the game, but we try to keep it like sort of mysterious as to what it is. And it's turn-based, so everybody takes their turn just going through, doing their actions. And so there's a bunch of story that prints out, and then it presents you with an option at some point. It's a unique experience every time you play.
Christine, your game is the Mysterious Aphroditus, which I think is a very interesting take on the fighting game genre. What is actually happening in this game?
What it does, it reduces mechanics to a sort of rock, paper, scissors type of relationship. So you can block, you can attack, you can throw, and it adds a feinting, so you can pretend to be blocking, but you're actually going to go in for a throw. You have to try and read what your enemy is trying to do. So it's like rock, paper, scissors, except with the extra whole head games element to it.
Matt, you've curated the illustration portion of the Comics vs. Games exhibit. What was your criteria for choosing illustrations to be part of this gallery?
Well, basically, it's funny because we've worked in the past by hiring cartoonists and illustrators who have familiarity with video games, and in a previous art show, I chose artists who were not familiar with video games, and I thought it was interesting to get their interpretation of video games. So I did the same thing here, but what ended up happening is a lot of illustrators did know a lot about video games. So people that I was expecting more of like an impressionistic piece, they basically did their tributes to their favorite games, and the results exceeded my expectations.
Well, that looked like it was a lot of fun for those involved, and if you want to feel the wrath of Diablo 3, then I suggest you stick around, because I promise you will after this. Welcome back to EP. Miri often visits Blizzard Entertainment to get the scoop on all their latest titles, and with this week's much-anticipated release of Diablo 3, the company is also excited to show off this animated short.
Diablo 3 Wrath is a brand new way for fans to interact with the Diablo 3 game. What is it? What made you decide to make it?
You know, the thing about the Diablo universe is it's just so vast, and there's so many stories to tell within it. There's limited space to really tell those stories in the gameplay or in our cinematics. And we do comics and books, but we really wanted to create something that was a little bit more accessible. One day we were sitting around saying, hey, I would love to work in animation, and the next thing we know, it happened.
What did you guys decide to focus in on for this animated short by way of story?
Well, this short gave us the opportunity to really explore this overarching theme of the Diablo universe, which is the eternal conflict, which is the war between the high heavens and the burning hells. You've seen that in the game, you've read about it in lore journals, but you really haven't experienced what that war was, and it really defines the entire franchise. So we really wanted to focus on that, and we really wanted to showcase the angels because you know about them, but you've never really interacted with them. You don't really know what they are. And these are avatars of ideals like valor and justice, but what does that really mean? What does it do to you when you're entirely driven by valor or justice? And so this allowed us an opportunity to showcase that.
You guys worked with the one and only Peter Chung of Aeon Flux fame. What does he bring to this animated short?
Peter brings a completely unique look to the Diablo universe, and I think that's one of the reasons we went after him. We have a very established look in the gameplay, but we wanted to see the world through a different lens, right? And Peter brings that. Peter brings a very specific look. All his characters are spindly, they're long, but it doesn't detract from the standard Diablo look, the bulky, intimidating gothic. If anything, I think it just creates a more unique texture to it.
This animated short is definitely going to offer audiences something new. What do you think that is?
I think it's just an opportunity to really explore facets of the universe that they haven't seen before. All of Blizzard's franchises are really big. We try to build out huge worlds, huge story worlds that we can play games in, you can read comics and books. This is just an opportunity to show them how vast and how detailed our mythology is.
At last, we have captured one of the prime evils.
On the next Electric Playground, Diablo III is finally emerging from the depths of hell, and we've got all the details. And coming soon to EP, we cast a spell with the magical PlayStation move game, Sorcery. If you missed anything in the show or you just want to watch it again, you can visit us at g4tv.ca or go to our website at electplay.com. You can also follow us on Twitter under electplay and find us on Facebook under Electric Playground.
It's almost time for me to go, but first let me tell you about this. The God of War trilogy has a prequel called Ascension, and we recently ran a first look. So here's a little taste of what to expect, and if you like what you see, head on over to our website and watch the entire story. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.
God of War means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but just boiling down really simply, when you hit a button and you feel it, and you feel the responsiveness, and you feel the power, then you know you're playing a God of War game.